120 against Atlanta Hawks. So they won that series in 6, 4 games, 2-2.
All right, so Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo says there's no failure in sports after his team's early exit from the playoffs.
All right, so this one broke the internet yesterday. Come and see analysis, and I have come to the conclusion that we have created a generation of lily livered people. That's the best way to put it. I know people say we're trying to be more sensitive. No, what you have done is created a bunch of Nancy pansies, but I'll get to that eventually.
Wow.
So yesterday, the Milwaukee Bucks, shockingly, yes, and that was the big shock. What happened to the Milwaukee Bucks? They were knocked out from the NBA playoffs by Miami Heat, and this didn't go all the way to game 7. This ended in game 5. So they were thoroughly beaten. Now, you have to understand, Milwaukee Bucks were 2021 NBA champions. They got to the semifinals last season, and that was considered a shortcoming. And then they get into this season, they had the best record in the NBA playoffs in regular season. If you asked if you took a poll from any 10 people that watch the NBA, who do you think will be NBA champions this season? You would have heard at least 5 people say Milwaukee Bucks. That's how good they were. Playoffs start. Giannis Antetokounmpo pick up a back injury. Chris Middleton just came in from a long layoff, so there were all that struggles. Bobby also, well, don't call him Bobby Crazy Eyes, but Bobby Crazy Eyes also had his issues. But going into the NBA playoffs, nobody, and I repeat, nobody in their right minds, apart from people bookies that always take those risks, saw, Miami Heat, first of all, take out Milwaukee Bucks. Secondly, take out Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games. But that's what happened. Milwaukee Bucks were beaten by 8 seed. Number 1 Milwaukee Bucks were beaten by 8 seed Miami Heat. And in 2 games, Jimmy Butler was literally the one carrying everything. He scored 56 points in game 4, and then he scored 40 points in game 5. In fact, the shot that he used to take the game into overtime in game 5 shouldn't be scientifically, mathematically, economically, physically possible. But it happened. So he did great things to get them there. Now, they come out of that game and everybody's shocked, including the Miami Heat that won. They are shocked. But a reporter now asked Giannis Antetokounmpo, do you view this season as a failure, considering all these things I've mentioned? And, people were upset that why did he ask such a question? Why are you so insensitive? That's a wrong way to ask a question. What if the player gets up and throws his shoe at you? I'm just like, oh,
yeah, that was insensitive.
That's not insensitive. That's a very good question. It was particularly needed because of what they did. Think about it. Just imagine that Manchester City lost to Sheffield United in the FA Cup. What question should you ask Pep Guardiola? That was what he did. That's what happened with Miami Heat taking on Bucks and losing in 5 games. And so they asked him, how do you view that? And he didn't say, I think your season is a failure. No, he said, based on this, do you view your season as a failure? So he's asking Giannis what Giannis thinks of Giannis' season. It's a simple question. You can be angry about it because you like Giannis, but it was a very valid question. And Giannis answers the question and says, you know what? Are you promoted every year? And the guy said, no. It's a valid question. And the guy said, no. He said, yeah, but that's why you work, to get more promotion, so you can get more money, so you can take care of your family. And so Giannis broke it down. Success and failure is not necessarily based on whether you won a trophy or achieve the goal you set out for. It's just steps towards what you want to do. We won the NBA championship in 2021. Last year we fell short at the semi-finals. This year we've fallen at the in round 1. We build up and start again. This year was Miami's turn. Maybe next year will be our turn. It's just success is about just keep going through regardless of what the results are, and still having your goals. It's that simple in sports. It was a great question to ask, and it was a fantastic answer he gave. One of the things he said was, Michael Jordan played for 15 seasons in the NBA. He won only 6 championships. The remaining 9 years were their failures. Those are good. So it's the thing I even say here to people when people tell me, "Oh, why did Serena Williams win? She retire. She had lost. She hasn't won any tournament since." I'm like, how is it your business?
Well, everyone has their personal.
Everybody has. So even if the objective is winning, the objective is also making money. The objective is also having influence. The objective is also doing what you love. So there are many objectives. One objective in trophy doesn't entirely mean that your career is a failure. And he answered the question brilliantly, but it was all the people that are coming for the journalist. And like, this guy asked a great question. And here's what is interesting. So yesterday in tennis, Maria Sakkari and Coco Gauff, Coco Gauff was just like, oh, that after the French Open, where she lost in the quarterfinals, that she didn't see her season as a success. But because of the way Yanis answered the question, she started to view it differently. I'm like, oh, so the reporter did a good job, because that's what the reporters ask. They ask tough questions and they get out answers that, could help them tell their story, number one. And number two, it can also help people like Coco Gauff.
Go.
Exactly. At the end of the day, he did a great job. So, brilliant job he did. But for Milwaukee Bucks, yes, Giannis can say that it's not a failure, but it was a huge disappointment for them to be eliminated in the first round in only 5 games.
Dang.
I'm disappointed on their behalf. All right, so let's take the next story.
Ferrari's Charles Leclerc insists he has not held any talks with Mercedes, but his field claims of a potential move by adding "not yet" to his denial.
All right, so that's where it's a huge deal. So remember, Lewis Hamilton's contract runs out at the end of this season, and he hasn't yet put paper to the next contract. There were rumors coming out that he wants more money. Mercedes is saying, look, you're too old for all this money you're looking for, and we're not sure how long you're going to last in the field. And there are young cats coming up. Charles Leclerc is younger. He's a great driver. He's frustrated at Ferrari. He's looking for where to go, and Mercedes will be happy to snap him up. So there are rumors that, if Lewis Hamilton, or should Lewis Hamilton not sign the contract that they place in front of him eventually, that they'll get Charles Leclerc, and so the longer Lewis Hamilton is taking to sort out his contract problems with Mercedes, the more the rumors are growing in the paddock. And then they asked Charles Leclerc, and he didn't say no, I haven't spoken with them. He said not yet. So people are like, you see?
Oh, wow.
You see? There's a potential for something to gain on. And it will be dramatic it's going to be drama in epic proportions if Lewis Hamilton is not able to get that contract from Mercedes, because then where does he move to? He's Lewis Hamilton. 7-time world champion, should have been 8, but that's the story for another day. And still one of the best drivers in the field, about to lose his seat because there's there's a little knot to tie, and they haven't tied it at Mercedes. So yes, those are the rumors that are swirling around on the paddock. But this weekend, we enjoy another set. We enjoy another Grand Prix. If you are Marcos Alonso, who is very happy that his car is moving fine. If you are Red Bull and Max Verstappen, who know that their car is the fastest on the grid. But if you're Ferrari, it's not a good time to come back because you don't know what will happen now. You don't know if your engineer will forget that they're supposed to change your tire. You don't know if your car will catch fire. You don't know what's going to happen to your car. But yes, it's another interesting weekend in the Formula One Grand Prix. But yeah, that's the big news swirling around the paddock now. Charles Leclerc may be moving to Mercedes.
Interesting. All right, so Russian's 15-year-old Mira Andreeva had a stunning run at the Madrid Open. It's continued with a 7-6, 8-6, 6-3 win over the world number 14, Beatrice Maya.
Yes, so huge one. So the first of this 15-year-old stepped up against Leila Fernandez. Yes, since Leila Fernandez run to the US Open 2 years ago, she's somehow managed to hang around in the spotlight, especially with her, her performances in the doubles. But she comes into this, and of course, nobody expects her to lose to a 15-year-old Mira Andreeva in the first round, and she lost. And then Andreeva goes on to back up her win by knocking out Haddad Maya, and everybody's just like, okay, hold up, where are all these teenagers?
Yeah.
These teenagers are just coming from nowhere and doing great things on court. But yeah, she's backed it up in Madrid Open, but it's clay court. You'd see some really weird results, like Kvitova losing to Nemanja, and it was not just losing, it was getting a complete beat down. She was almost bageled in the second set. She was almost bageled in the second set. So huge one there. But Coco Gauff made it through to the next round, and also Aryna Sabalenka. Coco Gauff, her next round, unfortunately, is another tough opponent and home favorite in Paula Badosa. So let's see how she works out there. On the men's side, though, Andy Murray was knocked out at his first attempt just yesterday.
Wow.
So the Madrid Open starts at, I think, 11 o'clock. So just tune in to catch up if you're a tennis lover.
Okay, well, let's take a break and we'll continue the conversation on the other side. This is
So
the
can
locker
we just
room.
take Tayo's message for
Yes, we
today?
can.
All right. So Tayo says,
I enjoyed Iana's response to that journalist question on failure. It was a media-friendly response. I hope Lampard doesn't use that same excuse.
all right, take that break now. Oh yeah. So a lot of people were not saying, how can you say it's not a failure? I say big failure. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. People just
But I
calculate.
think at some point in your career, those like
No, their expectations.
yeah, but I think when you get to a certain level, it doesn't really matter anymore. Like Serena.
No, it will matter.
Maybe at some point it doesn't.
No, yeah, but the fans need to be educated on what is success and failure. Because for Serena, I mean, at the peak of her career, of course, winning Grand Slams was it. But when she came back from that pregnancy, yes, she really wanted to win the 24th. Yes, she had several opportunities to win her 24th Grand Slam.
Yeah.
But for her, the fact that she could even play,
That's true.
do you understand? For Rafa Nadal,
Everyone has their own
yes,
measures of
for
success.
Rafa Nadal, if he comes back from this injury,
And he wins.
his goal is not necessarily to win a tournament, even if he wants to win a tournament. His goal will be, can I even finish a match?
Yeah.
And then from can I finish a match is how far can I go into the tournament? So priorities will change.
True though.
And everything is just a step in it, because sometimes like Roger Federer now, there's some contracts he didn't finish because he retired because of injury. So now, even if he's supposed to be sitting at home, he's going to be traveling to go and shoot one something for Barilla or shoot one something for. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's hot.
Now I know why this thing was so
So yeah, so the things change, everything. But a lot of people see things in black and white. Oh, he didn't win the championship. Oh, he has failed. Did you not pay him?
Exactly. Like I'm smiling to the band.
What are you saying? So ambitions change.
I'm 21 years of age. I'm a singer.
But from Frank Lampard, he can't use him excuse. He has not even achieved. He have not achieved
Lampard
anything.
Negro, please. Oh, he's not Negro.
So you know how did Bishop say nigger is a mentality, it's not skin color. I lost my
Who said that, Chris Rock?
It wasn't Chris Rock.
Oh, okay. I
It wasn't Chris Rock or the other one. I can't remember who said it. It was like nigger is a mentality. No, it wasn't Chris Rock. I forgot the comedian that said it.
But it has to be a black
Yeah,
guy.
it was a black guy. He was like, nigga is no. He said, look, if I'm in a neighborhood, a countryside neighborhood, a white neighborhood, and I see two guys walking past my car, pants down, face cut to the back, looking at me funny. They walk the first time, they walk the second time. I'm locking my car because those are niggas.
Like
It's not even debatable. Those are niggas. I was like, what niggas?
Oh god.
Unfortunately, it's just that we have become so sensitive these days. You can't even laugh at a real good joke.
Like you're laughing boy.
It's like, what's somebody about to say now? I don't even lose any sleep over it. I'm Gen X. They should go and see themselves.
Yes.
I'm Gen X. I laugh at what I want.
Oh my days. You're in the locker room with Tega and Zibby. We're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos on YouTube. WhatsApp number 0809 440 981.
All right, so let's go straight into the story because a lot of hot gist coming up.
Okay. Arsenal remain top of the Premier League, but manager Mikel Arteta's body language after a 4-1 loss at Man City on Wednesday suggests that he knows their title chance is gone.
Yeah, there's no way to put it. There's no better way to put it. And I said this from when they lost to Liverpool. Remember, it was the Liverpool loss on the Southampton loss on the West Ham. Sorry, Liverpool draw on the Southampton draw on the West Ham draw. So at the end of the day, Arsenal has lost 9 points from a possible 12. Talk about meltdown.
Wow.
And it all came down to the same thing. And people can argue that, oh, you can't say it's mentality. It is mentality. And I will tell you why. It's one thing to come on the pitch and show respect to a team that hasn't done well. It's another thing to come up on a pitch and show fear. That people don't understand. There is a difference between fear and respect. Respect is I know who I am, but I recognize who you are. Fear is I don't care who I am. You are going to beat me. That's all I know. And that's what they came with. They came with a fear. So even if the way that they set up, was to press a little bit higher, was to push up a little bit more, their bodies were in the right position, but their attitudes were not. They were not closing down Manchester City from passing the ball. They were not shutting down spaces. And every time Manchester City ran at an Arsenal player, especially in defense, they were shaking like leaf. Oh my God, they're about to score. And behold, they scored 4. So everything was wrong about them. And you can argue that regardless of if Arsenal showed up, they would still have been beaten. I completely agree with you because you don't know, a confident Arsenal could still have been beaten by Manchester City. My problem is, as it was against the Liverpool loss, the minute they felt the first sign of pressure, they cowered. And that's horrible. And it's a horrible attitude to have.
Wow.
So yes, the title, even like I said, I always only count points on the board. So they're just 2 points in Arsenal and Manchester City right now, and Manchester City has 2 games in hand. And yes, Arsenal still has to face Newcastle. Arsenal still has to face Brighton, and nobody should tell me about Chelsea because they don't count. Just leave Lampard there. Yes, Zibby, you can cry all you want, but your team is so bad. I'm telling you, I don't know who fears your team right now. But at the end of the day, ultimately, the fate of the Premier League is back firmly in Manchester City's hands. So Arsenal's only job is to pick up themselves and find a way to win their remaining matches. But even if they do that, Manchester City could just win all their own matches and go through. But let's see how the matches eventually pan out. Let's see if Southampton are struggling. So he that is down it fear no fall. Go out and see what you can get against Manchester City. The thing about Southampton is sometimes they get some very fantastic results, or sometimes they are on the end of a horrible beatdown. Something's got to give. I already know Southampton is going down. I don't think they're coming out of that relegation scrap. So they might as well go and square up against Manchester City. The truth of the matter is Manchester City's future is in their hands. Arsenal has no say. So the elephant has, how does this sing that song, has fallen yakata on the ground. All right, so let's take some people's messages. This message is from
Olumide. Olumide says, I said it about the elephant before. See above. He had to quote a previous message. Really, Olumide? Unfortunately, not only are Man City winning the title, they will open around 7 points or more on Arsenal before all is said and done. Man U did a Spurs at Spurs. This type of behavior will cost us 3rd spot, and we'll be battling with Aston Villa and Liverpool for 4th. Predicted will finish 6th or 7th at the beginning of the season, fought and competed for the Premier League title. There's no shame losing to City. They have over $1 billion team with a cyborg for a striker. Even Bayern couldn't cope with them. Arsenal aimed for the moon and landed on the sky. That's a good campaign, if you ask me.
Oh, you're putting the Yanis now.
Yes!
There's no failure in sports. Priorities have changed. Before they were bragging that they will win the title. Now they are bragging that they are going to finish second. It's okay. Consolation is good. Consolation is good. All right. Who is this message from now? Noimot says, "Good morning, Zibby and Tega. Shopwell to love for all the Arsenal fans. Newcastle United will play in the UCL. What will United do to keep a 2-0 lead scoreline?" We'll have to ask everything hard eventually. And Cruz says, "Is there still any point discussing Chelsea's Wolves?"
Really, Cruz?
Yay. Arsenal, try Tega. I forgot to suggest that we get a DJ. We need that voice note that says that thing they paying. We should play it after every Arsenal fan call or message. It's all love, it's not dragging. Will Newcastle use them to increase goal difference too? Interesting. Tayo says
Arsenal went to Etihad for one reason. Holden couldn't hold Haaland. Akanji put Saka in his back pocket. I think the scoreline was respectable. Wow. Now Arsenal can return the top of the table to its true owner.
Oh wow. So they're just squatting in the house. And Chimabi Victor from Alaba says, "Congrats to Manchester United for not disappointing by surrendering their 2-goal lead in second half. There's no difference in them and Arsenal. Please Sega, take it easy on we the Arsenal fans at least. We are better than Chelsea. Liverpool and Manchester United put together. I am happy to be back after a long while." Yeah, welcome back, Chimabi Victor. Unfortunately, you came back when your team was going down. All right.
Tega, have mercy. Okay. Tottenham fought back from 2-0 down to hold Manchester United to a 2-2 draw on Thursday as Newcastle closed in on the Champions League football with a 4-1 thrashing of Everton.
Yes, Everton that somehow I thought would survive. And the problem with Everton is it's not just that they're giving away goals, is that there's nobody to be scoring goals for them. So I don't know where their hope is going to come from. But they lost, remarkably and deservedly to a Newcastle side that is doing great things in the Premier League this season. So that helped Newcastle sit a little more comfortably in third spot, because Tottenham and Manchester United, who are chasing Newcastle, played out a draw. Now Manchester United looked good, like everything was going to be hunky-dory when they got a 2-goal lead in the first half, and Tottenham looked like they were struggling. But like I said, the assistant of the assistant seemed to be the solution, because Ryan Mason, when he took over the first time from Jose Mourinho, his first game back, Tottenham came from a 2-goal deficit to win that game by 3 goals to 2 or 4 goals to 2. This time they couldn't complete the comeback fully, but at least they got a draw, and they could have gotten more goals. So big up to Ryan Mason. He's just trying to steady the ship, and really that's all he can do right now. The players are listening to him. They all feel like they're in the same boat. The trouble is all there. So it's not like they're following the leader. It's like they're working in association with Ryan Mason in leadership. But for Manchester United, it's a tough one for Manchester United, because, they are like that girl, Coily Sue. When they are good, they are very, very good. But when they are bad, they are worried. And that's exactly how it was yesterday, because there's no other way to explain. You could say, yes, it was a draw, and yes, Tottenham are equally a good side, but it wasn't just the result, it was also the performance on the day. And I think Eric Ten Hag will have to ask himself some real questions. And you can't say it's just about the central pairing, but even the midfield, creating the chances that you think that they should have, with Bruno Fernandes in midfield and Everton in midfield. They didn't still look as lethal as Manchester United side can look sometimes. So worrying situation for Eric Ten Hag, and hopefully something he could fix over the summer.
Wow. Okay, so let's go on to Napoli. Now, Napoli's potential Italian title decider with Salernitana has been pushed back to Sunday, and this is after officials in Naples demanded the match be moved for reasons of public order.
Oh, please, they're just doing this. So let me explain what's going to happen. Should Inter Milan play Lazio, should Lazio not be able to defeat Inter Milan, then Napoli will be crowned champions this weekend. Now, they had put the Napoli match on Saturday, but the Inter Milan Lazio match is taking place on Sunday by 11 a.m. So they're saying should if Napoli wins against Salernitana already, the city will start celebrating and everywhere will be scattered and da 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 da. So they've decided that they're going to push the Napoli match to the game to make it the game after Inter Milan Lazio. So if Lazio wins that game, then there may be a little bit of sobriety in town. Everybody will be quiet, everybody will be calm, because regardless of whether their team wins or not, they're not getting the Scudetto this weekend. But should not Inter Milan defeat Lazio, then they can go into that Sunday match knowing that they're winner, so the party can happen full time, whatever it is. So I think that at the end of the day, that's what they're doing. So it's not like they're already seeing any bomb threat somewhere. No, it's just that based on the permutations, if Lazio doesn't win, then Napoli will be champions if they win their own match. So it's just better for them to play after.
Okay.
So that the party can, I mean, they haven't won the Scudetto since 1990. Can you imagine what the party in Napoli will be?
It will be a massive one.
All right. So we're talking about Frank Lampard. We're going to browse through Frank Lampard because Frank Lampard had said that, you know, his time at Chelsea will not give him a bad reputation. I was just like, the fact that you actually think you have a reputation as a manager is the worrisome thing.
I thought it was the player reputation he was talking about.
No, he was saying his managerial reputation.
Come on, he has to be joking.
Of course, he has to be joking. I've said it. That cloud over London, it's not ordinary cloud. It's something. It's something intoxicating. All right, so let's take some messages from some. Let's take some of the messages from WhatsApp. Emeka says. Emeka from Ikeja this time says the league is still open. Arsenal can still win the title. This is football. Anything can happen. I love you. I love you already. And Cruz says at least Arsenal can boast of going to Champions League next season. Tega is seated today. Should we be worried? Tega is just tired. I've been watching NBA all week and I've been having 2 hours of sleep. I just need to rest. Gary Neaton says Nawa for Man City safe. Small play thing. They are taking it seriously. Percy cannot joke with them again. It's a good question. He said, how do you push a whole elephant from the tree down? You can't even pity the grass. I agree with you completely. And this is Biggie saying, Tega, we may not beat Man City, but we can hear the UCL song after a long time. And regardless, I'm still hopeful we'll win the league. This is why I'm going to marry an Arsenal man. He'll be hopeful. He'll be hopeful that I'll be very good to him. Yeah, very hopeful. This Lami from the abroad says, what shall it profit a fan to sit atop the table for 30 weeks and then realize you're only keeping the seat warm for the true king of the north? Hope is a beautiful thing, but can be painfully exhausting. P.S. Thanks for sorting out the online stream. Yeah, Larry. And let's take the last message from Maiwa in Bagada. He says, good morning, ladies. Lampard is way in over his head. Obviously, the English media hyping English players and coaches will be their downfall. As for us now, be gone.
Wow.
And that's what I will be because the time is out for Locker Room. Zibby, take over.
All right, that's it for the Locker Room, but do stay with us. There's a lot more to come. Lagos Talk starts from 9 a.m. here on the Smooth Breakfast.
He said, Arsenal, be gone.
Be gone.
Like,
That guy is so cold.